Hey guys, welcome back to another scripting tutorial. Today we'll be talking about events, and this is actually a pretty important video because events are mostly how Roblox runs games. Now, what is an event, first of all? Well, an event basically listens for a specific type of event or occurrence, and then once the event detects that occurrence, you'll be able to respond to it. Now, the format of an event is any object, and then the object's events, connect, function, opening bracket, closing bracket, return, and then you can just do whatever you want here. And for people who have been following my tutorial, you might be wondering what a function is. I won't be covering functions in this video. I'll be talking about it in the future. So right now, just know that this is the overall format of an event. Right now, I want to get rid of the platform and make these two fall into the lava. But as you remember from my last video, there's like no player input for this. I can't really do anything here. But thanks to events, we can actually make buttons work. And the easiest way I can think of for doing this is first we need to insert a click detector for both of these buttons. And you can see that when you hover your mouse over something with the click detector, it actually shows a hover icon indicating you can click on it. Now with the click detector in both buttons, I can actually get to coding. In the case of a click detector, they have an event called mouse click, which detects when someone clicks on the button. And by the way guys, if you want to do your own research and you want to know what events exist in Roblox, you can go into the View tab and then click on Object Browser to open it up, and you can find the thing you're looking for, click on it, and then you will see everything that the thing has. Now I've opened up the click detector, and here all of the yellow bolt symbols are events. You can click on an event and then see what it does down here. So now we just follow the event structure that I showed like 10 seconds ago. Okay, remember that we want to destroy the platform, so I'm just going to code that in real quick. Okay, so I've coded both buttons to work, and to summarize how it works, if you click on button 1, then it connects a function which basically destroys the platform. And when we play the game and test it out, you can see that it works. So now we've created a basic button, but what else can we do with it? Well, one common thing I can think of when it comes to button presses is spawning objects. So that's what I'm going to teach you to do next. Alright, so what I've set up here is the part that I want to spawn, which is a mesh part called Robux, and the part here called spawner, which basically gives us the position from where this part is going to spawn in. Now the way we're going to repeatedly spawn this currency is using clone, and the format for cloning an object is object clone, like this. And what this does is it creates a duplicate or clone of the object here. When you clone something, in order to change the properties of the clone, you actually need to place it in a variable. So we'll just create a variable here. Local clone equals object clone. And we're trying to clone this Robux, so let me just replace object with Robux here. Okay, so now that we have referenced the Robux clone, let's actually get this to spawn when you press the button. We start by creating the event structure, and then I'm going to put the clone inside so that it clones when you press the button. Now when you clone an object, you have to parent it to something because it doesn't do it for you. So I'll parent it to the workspace. And the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to set the position of the clone inside the spawner. And now you can see that when I press the button, it summons Robux. Hey guys, so unfortunately while recording this video, I got sent to prison, apparently for printing money, because it's actually illegal. Believe it or not, my sentence is only like 1 year, but I'm not waiting 1 year to get out of here, so I've decided that I'm going to break out of prison. Now you might be wondering how I'm going to do this. Well, it's because in this cell, for some reason, there's like a very fragile looking wall, and thankfully I hid an explosive here before I got detained and got everything confiscated. So what I can do is I can program the bomb to blow up the wall over here. So what I want to do in particular is to use an event that all parts have called destroying. And this event basically happens every time an object is being destroyed. In our case, we want to check if the bomb is being destroyed, and if the bomb is being destroyed, we create an explosion. So the way you would create an explosion in Roblox is by using insert object to insert an explosion inside the bomb. However, if you place an explosion, the explosion detonates immediately. So what we need to do is we need to script it so that the explosion gets spawned the moment the bomb is destroyed. And the way you create something similar to how you use insert object in Roblox Studio is by using Instance.new and then the string name of what you're trying to insert. And just like cloning something, it's better to create a reference to it so you can adjust its properties. So now we need to position the explosion in the same area as the bomb. And then in our event here, once the bomb is destroyed, we parent the explosion to workspace so that it actually spawns into the game. And then finally, I'm going to add a 3-second timer with task.wait. Then I'm going to destroy the bomb so that it explodes. So if I did everything correctly, this should get me out of prison. Let's try it. 1, 2, 3. And now I'm a free man. Seriously, a phone call? I'm literally on the run right now. Hold on, you sound a lot like Mr. B. Wait, that's because you are him? And you need me to come over to the set right now? Oh yeah, I'm going there right now. So apparently Mr. B wants my help with the video. Let's just see what's going on. Alright, Mr. B, I'm actually here. And wow, the set... Wow, it feels like I'm actually in a Mr. B video. So, Mr. B, what do you actually want me to do here? So all I have to do is program the buttons so that when the number reaches 100, it drops down a prize. Wait, that's so easy to do. This is like the easiest 10 grand of my life. Okay guys, this is really simple. So all we have to do is update this text label here, which is the text on this screen. And then all we have to do is change it whenever someone presses the button. So for the sake of organization, I'm going to insert a number value into this counter, which will keep track of the button presses. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to create an event which will update the text label or the text on the screen based on every time the number value changes value here. And the way we can do this is by using getPropertyChangeSignal and then string name for the property, which in this case is value here, so value. And then we're going to use the event structure so that it looks like this. So what this event does is anytime the number value's value property changes, it will connect a function that will do something in here. In our case, every time the number value changes, we want to update the text label. So I'm just going to reference the text label real quick. And then we have to access the text property to actually change the text. And finally, we make the text the same thing as the counter's value. Okay, so now that we've referenced the number value, we just need to get the value property here in order to actually change the text into what's in the number value. So you can see if I change the value here, then it will also change on the screen. Now the next thing we need to do is we need to make each button add to the overall count here. So normally you would refer to all of these buttons with the same functionality, but because we are beginners and we haven't learned that much, I'm going to put a script into each button instead. So starting with any button, I'm going to insert a script in here. Then in order to refer to the button, I'm actually going to use script.parent, which basically gets the parent of where the script is in this case, which is the button. Now I'm going to use the mouse click event just like we learned. And then in our mouse click event, what we want to do is we want to add +1 to the number value inside the counter. So first reference the number value, and then we reference the value property of the number value. And in order to add 1 to itself, what we want to do is we want to just put the value here and then add +1 in order to +1 itself. Another more simpler way to do this is to just say +=1. Now finally, we're going to transfer the script to the other two buttons. So I'm just going to delete and I'm going to copy and paste them. And you can see that all of the buttons work and add to the overall value here. Now the final thing we're going to do is we're going to unload the prize when the counter reaches 100. And I've been told by Mr. B's production crew that deleting the prize gate here should unload the prize and it should roll out. So going back to the script we put in our counter, I'm going to add an if statement that checks if the value on the counter is more than or equal to 100. So I've made the if statement here, and then of course when this happens, we're going to delete the prize game with destroy. Alright, that should be the code right here. Mr. B is about to start recording, so we're going to just have to see if it works on the fly. I'm pretty confident it'll work though. Alright, Mr. B, I can see that recording is about to start. But where is the third contestant? Oh, he didn't show up? So I'm the third contestant now? Well, if it makes me more money, then sure. Come on guys, click faster. Are you guys even doing anything? Wait, aren't those my... Ugh, I knew all along Mr. B wasn't a good person in the end. Well, yet again, it's kind of my fault for creating weapons of war and distributing them on the Roblox library. But that's besides the point. Wait, why is my game so laggy? Oh my god. So I cleaned everything up. It turns out that during that game show, Mr. B tried to get rid of me on purpose just so he could use my money printer. So from all that, I guess I learned that making a money printer isn't a good idea. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to decommission this for good. And we're going to do that by disconnecting the event so no one ever touches this again. So one way we can disable this permanently is by using what's called a debounce. And the debounce is basically a true or false variable which you connect with an if statement. And the way it works is you create an if statement that will initially work, but then you change the debounce variable to the opposite value so that this will stop working permanently until you switch debounce back to false somehow. So essentially this is going to make our button only work once and then never again. So as you can see here, if I click and then I click again, it just won't work anymore. Now, a debounce is a good way to stop lines of code, but if you ever come across a situation where events are continuously created, such as when you're cloning something and giving it an event, then it's better to disconnect it. And the way we disconnect it is we first reference the event as a whole by turning it into a variable, and after we contain the event in a variable, all we have to do is type in :disconnect, and that should stop the event altogether. So as you can see, if I click, it stops working because I've disconnected the event, which basically deletes the event permanently. And disconnecting events is super useful, especially when your script continuously creates events. And if you're not clearing out the events, then your memory is going to build up and your game will eventually lag if you're not accounting for this. And another thing to note is that by default, if an object with an event is destroyed, usually the event disconnects automatically. Additionally, one very convenient way to disconnect an event is using once instead of connect. And once is basically the same as connect, except it will disconnect after it runs through it one time. So you can see that if I use once here, I can press the button, but then I can only do it one time before it disconnects permanently. Hey guys, before we end the video, I kind of need to say a little disclaimer. The portrayal of Mr. B in this work is purely satirical and exaggerated for entertainment purposes. While inspired by a real person, this representation does not reflect their actual personality, behavior, or beliefs. Any similarities to the real individual are intended as parody and should not be taken as an accurate depiction. In the next video, I'll be talking about functions, so yeah, bye.